5, look up at the camera.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And with that, the historic Octagon Hotel on Main Street in Oyster Bay was reopened on December 2nd. The restoration of this 19th century structure was largely due to the efforts of the Oyster Bay Main Street Association.
To stand on this porch, the same porch that Theodore Roosevelt stood on over 100 years ago, and know that easily for the next 100 years, if not longer, this building's still going to be here as a result of the efforts of the Main Street Association and the community and our partners. It's really a humbling thing. It's an honor.
Many town and county officials are on hand to celebrate the reopening of this historic building and also to talk about the importance of preserving these historic treasures on Long Island.
This landmark is an example of the good things that can happen to a community when you have residents who care, when you have a government that's responsive to those cares and to those concerns. And the reason why this project, this hamlet, this town are so special is much less about government and much more about the people who live here. People who voluntarily and unselfishly day in and day out do the right thing to improve the quality of life in our community. It makes my job as supervisor a whole lot easier.
There's absolutely no question that the hamlet of Oyster Bay gets it. They understand that in the 21st century, although we are all computer literate now, we are all aware of the 21st century necessities, we also are aware of what history means. And the hamlet of Oyster Bay has been able to combine the two successfully. So to see something like this, the Octagon Hotel, being restored, being used for present-day activities, but have the restoration of the entire building is really what everyone should be doing in every township of Oyster Bay and of Nassau County.
The Main Street Association says that the Octagon Hotel has had quite a history in the town of Oyster Bay.
The hotel was first built in 1851 as the Nassau House, and even at that time it was a landmark from the moment it was built, because how many Octagon buildings were there really? But Oyster Bay grew up around it. Theodore Roosevelt was actually born a couple of years after the hotel was completed, but he'd come here as a private citizen, and then as governor, his office was in here for a short time before he moved to the Oyster Bay Bank building in town. When he was president, many distinguished guests stayed here too, including the Secret Service, including the German ambassador at the first state visit outside of the White House, which occurred here in Oyster Bay, and he and his staff stayed here. The Secret Service stayed here. But after all of that, the building did fall into a period of decline and neglect, and various auto garages and auto dealerships were here. At the very end, the tile store was located at part of the ground floor of the building, and the rest of it was let go. And when I arrived in 2008, the building was vacant, in serious neglect, and they said that they were going to tear it down. But I knew almost immediately that would be an incalculable loss for Oyster Bay, but not just for Oyster Bay, for Long Island, for New York, for the country. So we brought the folks together that needed to come together, and we got the resources, did the studies, and helped to bring this building back to its full glory. And it really is a tribute and honor to the history of Oyster Bay, to Theodore Roosevelt, our favorite citizen, but to the future people of Oyster Bay as well, because this, hopefully in their time, will be a cherished and valuable resource too.
Many have applauded this restoration and preservation effort as an example of how to preserve historic treasures for Long Island.
This whole hamlet should be so special to the people of Nassau County. This hamlet should stand for history for them. And I really ask people to give it a chance and come on down here. This hamlet, just by its very look and just the thought of what happened here before, leaves us with a wonderful feeling inside. Those of us who know it love it.
I think the point to make is that every generation adds a little something extra, and that evolution over time and the buildings that are created and left behind as a result are a physical record of the people who came here, the things they did, what they felt, what they experienced, and really it's just our role to pass it forward to the people who come next. And really, again, it is an honor, and it's a humbling experience. It's a pleasure to be able to give Oyster Bay a landmark of this magnitude, and to have it be in such a beautiful, immaculate condition that it is today.
In Oyster Bay, Chris Collora reporting.